Okay, so here's the crack where my fingers pointed. Get in here. Right. That's the crack. There, my fingers pointed. There it is. So there's the crack. And so now I'm going to come up to the top here. Let's see. And follow this harness. And at the top of the harness is a nut right there. So take that nut off. Okay, I said nut earlier, but it's actually a bolt, and it's going to be 12 millimeter. But before I take that off, I'm going to try to get some room. I'm going to see if I can't loosen this up. There's two bolts up here. I don't know if you can see those or not. But there's two bolts that hold this up under here, that hold this filter in. I'm going to try to get that to see if I can pull this back a little bit where I can get to it easier. And I'm also going to take this off, just this one bolt here. It's 12 millimeter as well. And I'm going to slide the muffler back out. I'll leave this one here connected, and so I'm not going to take it completely out. Okay, got the muffler loosened off. I did have to take this bolt off as well, but I left it hooked up down here. It's still hooked up to the exhaust. And then here's the two bolts I was talking about. Right here, that was holding this, so that broke this free a little bit. So hopefully that'll give me some room to get back to this nut here that I was originally trying to get to. And it should be, looks like I can get to it a little bit better now. That one right there where my finger is, and that's a 12 millimeter. So I'm going to take that off and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take this filter assembly out. I disconnected this plug here. Probably need to unplug this one as well. Hope I don't get these two mixed up. Are they the same? No, one's round, one's square, so they should not be mixed up. Okay, so one's going to go there. I'm going to take this off, drain it out a little bit, and then after I get some fluid out, I'm going to go ahead and break this line open and just see if I can't pull this whole thing out. Okay, that's draining, and this is 1 1/4 inch wrench for that. Okay, I got this pulled down. I covered it up to try to keep some of the dust. Try to keep some of the dust and dirt out of that. So that's pulled down out of the way. I got it covered up. I got this off. Now I can kind of get in here, I think, a little bit, and see what I gotta try to figure out what I gotta do. So there's the two bolts I wanted to get off. These two, I can get to those easy enough now. Okay, so this is the part I'm trying to change. Obviously I could get these 2 bolts off here on the top, but for this mounting plate here, this is where I believe the crack is. I believe if you look on here, if I zoom in, see the crack? It comes right along here, which is where this bolt is, right here. See that crack? It's right there where that bolt is, and that bolt is a bracket for this alternator pulley, or for the alternator. And I'm just kind of afraid once I tighten that back up, it's going to eventually crack again. That's just not a good design to me, but I'm going to have to get that bolt out. And then there's 4 more. That one, that one, that one, of course. And I'm trying to locate those. And I'm kind of feeling down in here. So that's the one where the crack is. Then I can feel one underneath it where the bottom is. And then over here, I can't really see. So I think that's the other one. And then there should be one down further, which I believe is kind of going to that other pulley. I'm not really sure, but we're going to find out. Okay, so here's my plan of attack. Move this back out of the way. So I still have to get to these 2 bolts here, and come on. Okay, so I gotta still get to these 2 bolts right here. And what I was trying to say earlier, now that I got this out of the way, since I already have this this one bracket here loose, because that was holding that one nut, I'm just gonna go ahead, loosen that other bracket. I'm gonna just loosen this up for the alternator. I'm gonna take this belt off, and then I'm gonna take off this housing, this pulley housing, and I think I can get to the bolts I need to over here. I think that might be one there, but if I had like a ratchet, they just happen to be on sale at Harbor Freight today, but I'm gonna try to get this off without making an extra trip downtown. And then there's one underneath, and I couldn't get a socket on there without putting it at an angle, so I'm gonna take this off, and then I can get the ratchet on there straight, and then that should clear this up as well. Alright, so I got this bolt loosened up. It was 13 millimeter. I'm able to pull that back. Now I can get this belt off the alternator, and I probably ought to just go ahead and change this too while I got it off, right? Alright, so here's a tip. The oil filter wrench I use for a strap wrench on the pulley wheel, and that allows me to break those nuts loose. Okay, I got half of it to come out. It was cracked pretty good. You can see where it's cracked. So I gotta get the rest of it out. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and take this clamp off and remove that hose and get this out of there. All right, so now that I got that pulley off, I don't think it really helped too much. I was reaching around in the dark here, and I think I was touching these screws, so I thought I was gonna be able to get to those, but actually now that I got that other piece off, I can see, you know, pretty clearly anyways. So I'm going to try to get that one with the wrench, and then there's one below that, and I'm going to see if I can get that with the wrench. Okay, this is the bolt that I just had the wrench on. I got it out, I'm going to try to get this one off, but I do think I'm going to run into other problems here. So I think I have the wrong part. This is a eBay special or something. But if you look at the length of it, this is a lot shorter than that one. This must come off a tractor or something. And also, this one has an attachment for the water temperature right there, and this one does not have that. So it would be on this side. So I'm gonna have to reorder that, get the right part number, but I'll keep working on this bolt and then I'll be ready next time. And one other thing too is after a while when you're wrenching on this, you're gonna hit a stop and then you won't be able to get your wrench out if you're using the closed end. So you can use this to loosen it up, but after a while you're gonna have to switch to the open end and get the bolt the rest of the way out. Okay, I was finally able to get the nut off, not the bolt, the nut. These are bolts. So there's a stud in this slot right here. So, turn the light on. I don't know if you can see it here. So I'm trying to get it out. There's the rest of the piece. I got this piece off. There's the stud. And I can't get the darn piece out because it's hitting up against the back of this. It's hitting up against the back of this here water pump. So I either gotta take that stud out or take this water pump off. I really don't want to take the stud out. And I don't really want to take the water pump off. Who designed this?